Welcome to a nourishing midweek lunch hour conversation with Spokane's newsmakers, thought leaders, and popular entertainers. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Welcome to Spokane Talks Live.
Well, welcome to Spokane Talks Live. I think we've got kind of a fun program this morning. First up will be Todd. I'm going to have to look at my notes. Yeah, you knew I was going to. Tuflija.
Perfect.
Is that close?
Perfect.
All right. From Dishman Dodge, and I've had a chance to meet him before. He's done a program with Clyde Hawsey and so forth, and we're going to hear all the new things coming up, and from one of very few last family-owned, locally owned car dealers in town. Love when it's locally owned. And then for the last two segments, I'm pleased to say that we have Sean Owsley, morning anchor from KHQ. Next on Spokane Talks Live.
For the Inland Northwest's most comprehensive sports report, think outside the porch with spokesman.com. For just 99 cents for the first month, you'll enjoy unlimited digital access to the news and sports news that affect you most. From EWU to WSU, from Northwest Preps all the way to the Seahawks, we're the local authority that makes sports in the Inland Northwest different than the rest, better than the rest. On your phone, on your desktop, and on your tablet. Subscribe to the digital experience with spokesman.com.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Well, welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Pleased this morning to have a friend of ours here. And it sounds like maybe I don't know him, but Todd is the easy part of the name. Tuflija.
Perfect.
For the last name. And what's the origin of that?
Puerto Rican Irish.
That's a combination. All right. I mentioned in the early tease that Dishman Dodge is one of the few remaining locally owned car dealerships in Spokane.
Correct.
And why does that make a difference?
Wow. That's kind of a loaded question.
Of course it is.
Anytime you live in a small community, which we are,
right?
You look to do business with community-driven or community-minded dealerships,
yes,
or businesses. And Dishman is one of the very last remaining dealerships that are owned. It's third generation, and we're 56 years old, going on 56 years old.
Well, that's just a kid to me.
Yeah.
It is, and Marty, who passed away, a couple of years ago?
Well,
Marlene?
Next month it'll be a year.
Well, really? I remember meeting her. What a nice lady. Mm-hmm. What a community-driven person. She really gave back to the community, and sorry to see her go so early in life.
Yeah, we miss her every day.
Yeah. Just a wonderful person. And I think that's part of what we like here at Spokane Talk. So we very much like the local atmosphere. And someone said, well, why don't you go after for sponsors some of the big box stores and so forth? Well, number one, decisions are made somewhere else, and and they're only looking at a balance sheet and numbers and so forth, versus the people who are here who are trying to grow their business just like we are. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's the heart and soul of Spokane, is that we are a small business community. You get to know people like Todd and others when you see them around town. You can ask them a question because they live and breathe and raise their kids here and all of that. You have something coming up in April that's kind of exciting, and it's very unique to the Northwest and across the country.
Correct. We're pleased to announce, after many years of delay, that we're going to have a 2019 half-ton Ram.
Okay.
Which has totally been refreshed.
Now, this isn't the animal. This is the truck.
This is the truck.
Okay,
this is the truck. So we have a representative from Detroit that's going to be driving one in for a VIP showing.
Oh, wow.
Mid-April.
Okay.
So I would ask everyone to call the dealership, find out what the dates are, mark them on your calendar. But we're only going to have it here for a day or two.
Oh, wow.
So you want to get on the list.
Now, it's not happening anywhere else around this area, right?
Correct.
Okay. Can you tease us a little bit about what we might see with this new Ram?
Well, it has a not a totally different new frame and body, but they are distinct. So you'll see as it's rolling down the street, you'll know that
you'll know what it is.
You'll know exactly what it is. The interior is bells and whistles everywhere. They're spaceships, is what they are.
Really?
A lot of electronics, a lot of creature comforts. The screen right now we have a screen that's 8.4 inches, which is a pretty good size screen. This one is going to eclipse the size, kind of look like a Tesla screen.
Okay.
Very large screen and touch screen as well.
You know, that brings up a point, and I haven't bought a car for a while, which tells me and tells you that so much has happened in the last 8 or 9 years. Well, number one, cars and trucks last longer than they used to. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons I still have the car, okay? Plus, I don't put the miles on it that I used to when I worked out in the community. But what have been some of the very unique and really good improvements that have been made to cars today? Because they're more than the old, gasoline-run cars. They're an electronic computer with 4 or more wheels, aren't they?
Correct. They're definitely. I refer to them as spaceships only because in the old days,
the term.
It would take 30 minutes to do what's called a delivery to an instruction to a new owner.
Okay.
Now it takes upwards of 2 hours, and many times.
And then they have to come back for refreshers, right?
Well, that's what we try to do now. Is that if you take an hour, because after coming out of finance, you've been there for a while. You want to get home, or you want to play with your new spaceship.
Right.
So we'll do a basic for an hour, and then come back in a week to 2 weeks.
Because that'll generate more questions by using it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
What's the number one thing they have a challenge with, or have to learn to use?
Well, CarPlay is a unique platform right now for your Android and or your iPhone.
Okay.
So adapting to that, for example, I did a delivery with a business here in town last week, and I went to his office just recently, and he had already downloaded the platform where he could start his car, unlock his car from a remote base. And we typically don't go over that right away, but it's something that you can learn.
He must have known somebody under 30 to help him, right?
He said he spent the whole day on Sunday learning all the electronics on his car, on his truck, rather.
The joke around here is that if there's an electronics question, I ask somebody under 30.
True.
Because the under 30 have grown up with this. Mm-hmm. In fact, Clyde Hawsey sent me a note last year and said, I've got my laptop, he's down in Palm Springs, got my laptop and my printer. How do I do such and such with it? Or what would you do? My answer to him was very quick. Ask somebody under 30.
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm not sitting there, Clyde. You and I can probably spend 3 hours trying to figure it out. Somebody under 30 can figure it out like that because they've grown up with it. Are you seeing that when people buy, that the younger folks are adapting faster to some of the electronics?
The answer is yes. We also, when we're delivering these spaceships, if you will,
yes.
To an older crowd, if they bring their grandchildren, we get excited because we see their grandchildren, so we tell them to pay attention.
Yes,
they're going to have to take the ropes from when they leave the dealership.
Neat.
One aspect is navigation.
Yeah.
Navigation is very user friendly, but it's very in depth. It has multiple levels of instruction. So you're going to find a certain older demographic, if you will, that is less likely to absorb that information,
right.
But the grandchildren have no problem.
Oh, yeah, because they sit with their iPad and their iPhones and everything else and are constantly doing things. And I'm always worried when my grandkids come over and they use some of my stuff because what have they changed on it?
Sure.
Sure. Where did that come from? But it's fun. When you were in doing the show for House to Home Senior Living with Clyde, one of the things that you talked about is the We know about we talk a lot about the downsizing of people as they get older into maybe a condo or assisted living or a different kind of house. Maybe it isn't a 2-story or a 3-story home and so forth. What are some of the things that come to mind as you look at our older parents and sometimes us as we get older in terms of looking for a car or a truck?
Well, there's two elements. Number one is to make sure it fits in your garage.
Okay.
So they should ask to take.
Because if they have an old house, that probably isn't going to happen, isn't it?
Sometimes when they downsize, also they have a 1-car garage, which is for a compact these days. The other is ease of access. So when you have a vehicle, for example, a Dodge Journey, it's about 22.5 inches off the ground for a person to slide into it.
Okay.
Where obviously a truck is going to be 30 inches above the ground.
Yeah, I was going to say, I find myself getting into the SUVs and the trucks and so forth a little more difficult than it might have been 20 years ago.
Sure.
You know, at 71 versus 51, you know, that fortunately many of them have straps and things to hold on to and so forth, but still, I'm not as secure as I might have been way back when, or at your age, right? I mean, but you think about that. You think about falling and so forth as you get older, and you don't want to do it even once.
So, having patience when an older person goes to the dealership to test out all the vehicles to make sure they can slide into them easily and don't really have to lift up their knee too far to get in.
That's really good to think about. I imagine that there's some training and orientation for your sales staff as they deal with different generations, like an older generation, to help guide them toward the right vehicle, that they don't go to the impossible truck that's 30 or 32 inches too high, right?
Yeah, observation is a key element for our professional sales staff.
Right.
When a prospect or a buyer comes into our dealership, we look at their mobility, their ability to access a vehicle, to make sure that we're going to give them the correct vehicle. And sometimes that's a struggle because we find them to be frightened. Or
they've always wanted that truck. Now they can afford it and everything else, and you're going, oh, but you don't realize the steps you're taking if you do that. Yeah, and sometimes you have to gently maybe at least bring reality to them. Because the last thing you want to hear about is a month later is that they've fallen because they were trying to get into a truck. How can people get in touch with you or the folks at Dishman Dodge?
Well, there's 2 ways to access Dishman. Is our phone number 509-924-3250 is our main switchboard, if you will. Direct my number is 509-435-3770, and then also dishmandodge.com.
Okay. I was going to say, like everything else today, it's the internet. And we're all looking there often first, aren't we?
Sure.
And then getting our contact information. So thank you. Hey, good to see you. Thanks. And we look forward to the August event. That'll be kind of fun.
April.
Did I say August? I did.
You did.
April, August. They both start with an A.
So,
come on. You know what? My age, I was close. Okay, Todd?
Call the dealership and get your name on.
Okay, great. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll be with Sean Owsley from KHQ.
Today, I will spark an idea.
Today, I'll help a student uncover the mysteries of DNA.
Today, I will nurture creativity.
Today, I'll help someone figure it out.
Today, I will protect our future by digging into the past.
Today, I will build a business that makes learning fun.
How will the future look?
What will we discover?
Invent.
Create.
Will we find ways to revive our planet?
Develop meaningful, high-paying jobs.
When most of those jobs don't even exist yet.
It'll happen because
we'll be the ones to invent those jobs.
It starts with better skills in math and science.
Engineering.
Technology.
And the arts.
It takes a willingness to try.
And fail.
And try again.
Because great things never happen on the first try.
Some communities are defined by geography.
Ours is defined by a vision
that encourages everyone
to develop a passion for learning.
It happens when high school freshmen learn college-level science.
When a teacher learns robotics.
When ideas are sparked with play.
By providing the tools to tinker.
And the space to create.
And our future gets better when we learn from our past.
I'm Randy.
I'm Mike.
I'm Brooke.
I'm Lexi.
She's Barb.
He's Marty.
We're all connected by a credit union.
that's invested in our community
for over 80 years.
Supporting teaching, learning,
and creating.
To make sure your future
and mine
are here for good.
SDCU, here for good.
Snoring can disrupt marriages and cause serious health problems. Call Sleep Better Northwest first, the experts in dental sleep medicine. Their medically approved, custom-fit oral appliances will have both you and your partner sleeping better and being more productive throughout your day. Don't wait. Snoring and sleep apnea can signal potential strokes or heart attacks. For more information, visit needbettersleepnow.com and download our health guide today. Sleep Better Northwest, the experts in dental sleep medicine.
Is your child having trouble coping with a personal disability, but don't know where to go? Consider our friends at Breakthrough Incorporated. Breakthrough takes great pride in mentoring their DDA clients who have intellectual disabilities and their BRS clients who have challenging behaviors toward the creation of safe, appropriate, ethically sound life goals. They integrate programs at school and home to enrich their lives. They work hard to make a positive difference in you and your family's lives. Breakthrough provides a highly structured, fully staffed residential setting in local neighborhoods, 6 in Spokane and 2 in the Tri-Cities. Diagnoses affect people differently, so their service to each resident is unique, giving them the opportunity to grow and evolve. For more information on Breakthrough, visit their website at breakthroughincorporated.org.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks live today, and in the studio is an old friend, and we're laughing because he's not old, but I am. Sean Owsley from KHQ, and for those of you who get up early in the morning, I don't anymore. Sorry to tell you.
I don't blame you. If I wasn't working the shift, I wouldn't be up either.
And when I come downstairs in the morning, my wife has control of the TV. Okay.
I like her style already.
Yeah. Sean. We talked in promoting this program in this segment about who you are, and I've known you now for about 15 years, on and off.
That's about right, yeah.
About when I worked at KHQ in sales, just one of those salespeople upstairs. Don't worry about sales. We just bring in the revenue to pay your salaries, right?
I'm aware of the hierarchy. You don't have to explain it to me.
The good people do. The good people do. But, you know, one of the things I really noticed there in seeing you in the hallway, seeing you work downstairs, because you did a number of things when I was there, and out in the community, to see you cover the fire story and others so well and so naturally. It is who you are. Because people have said, is he really like that? And my resounding answer to that is, yes, you are. And so what keeps you level-headed in that? Because you know in this game, not necessarily all in Spokane, but when you get into some of the bigger markets, although there's some in Spokane, you know, you get that big head because you're the anchor, you're the star on the local TV and so forth. How do you maintain who you are?
You know, my dad, he's been gone 13 years now already.
Has it been that long?
But he was the #1 DJ in Spokane in the 1980s. And I remember as young as 4 years old, my mom taking, of course, broadcasting, you work every crazy shift there is.
You do.
Well, he was like on the radio from midnight till 6 a.m. And I vividly remember 4 years old, my mom carrying me in to see my dad, and he turned the mic on and he went to work, and it stuck with me. And as I got a little bit older, I appreciated what he did and what being live with a microphone, what goes into that. And it's really all about the preparation. But I remember one thing he said to me, and I said, Dad, why do you think you resonate? And this was I was a teenager and kind of had a bigger grasp of what he did and how he did it and why people
he was in radio
to him. Yeah, too. You know, and he went by the name, the nearly famous Gary Charles. Charles was his middle name. You know, he was from Spokane. I was born in Spokane. And I said, Dad, what's the trick? What's the thing that stands out to you? What do you kind of keep in the back of your head every day? Because he stayed so grounded. I mean, he met Reba and George Strait. I mean, the list of stars was long.
Sure.
And he said, always remember where you came from. Always be authentic.
Yeah.
And if you're authentic, it will resonate. And if you're authentic, it won't run away from you in your head.
Yeah.
I have a job to do. just like so many other people have a job to do. We breathe the same air. All I try to do is do it at the absolute best level I can every single day. I remember Tom Brokaw, who I loved Tom Brokaw, an idol. He would say, every day I come to work, I'm trying to improve what I did the day before.
Right.
If you've settled, if you're like, I've reached
it's
that,
over.
if I've reached that, you're doing yourself and the people you're working for a disservice. So that's kind of my inner dialogue that drives me each and every day.
Now, you were a Spokane boy?
1970, Deaconess Hospital.
Okay. 1970. Oh, boy, I won't tell you how old I was then. But you went to EWU?
Eastern grad, 92.
Okay. And I think I've seen some pictures on Facebook.
Yes.
You were a good-looking kid. What happened? No.
Well, 20 years, getting up at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah. All kidding aside, when did you decide that you really might want to get into the business? Did you major in that out there?
You know, it struck me even sooner than that. I think the seed was planted with my dad.
Yeah. It would be hard to dismiss that,
right?
For sure.
And you know, I was born here, and then my parents separated, and I spent my teenage years in Seattle. But I would come back and visit my dad.
Oh, sure.
And so I think that was where the initial seed was planted. And then I vividly remember it was about the fall of my sophomore year of high school, and I was like, you know, what am I going to do? What do I like to do? I like to tell stories. I'm outgoing. I'm comfortable around people. I'm comfortable in social settings. And then I thought, and then the broadcasting piece, those two must have married somehow. And at that point, I'm like, what about television journalism? And I know it was the fall of my sophomore year of high school is when I first got the idea, and then I just grabbed on and would not let go. And I have many bumps and hurdles that I had to come over along the way.
Welcome to life.
Right. Well, life.
Right.
But it's like you don't lose until you quit.
Yeah.
If you keep going, you eventually get over that hurdle.
Right.
And, I majored in broadcast journalism at Eastern with the great guidance of the chair of journalism back then, which was Steve Blewett, who went so far out of his way to take a kid and inspire him and give him a little bit of confidence to pursue this. And he goes, I see something in you.
Someday.
There's something unique in you. There's something special in you. Pursue it. I will help any way I can. And he did that, and we are still in contact to this day.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Steve Blewett, because for a number of years, from about 1978 for 10 years or so, he worked in the same office area at Water Power.
Yeah, I know he was there before he was at Eastern, yes.
Yeah, and we used to have, how do we say this politely, political discussions? Okay.
Those are still happening in the country today.
Oh, I hadn't noticed. Yeah. I haven't been on Facebook for the last hour, so I don't know if the world has blown up or
We're
whatever.
still standing.
Okay, good. Yeah. But a good guy. Funny, one day we were talking about, because his wife passed away a few years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And well before that, found out that he and his wife got married the day after my wife and I did.
Oh, really?
So we ended up working together and having a little bit of that in common. But a very thorough guy knows how to write a sentence and how to put things together and how to make sense. So I'm sure you learned a lot from him.
He was an absolute difference maker in my career. I would not be who I am, where I am without Steve Blewett.
Yeah. Let me ask, the question that probably everybody watching wants to know is, you're on from 4:30 in the morning until 7.
Correct.
Why the hell? No, I mean, why would you do something? What time? What does your day look like? Because obviously you don't go to bed like everyone else does at 11:30 after you watch the 11:30 news, right?
No, those days are long gone. They've been gone. I started on this shift back in the late 90s and have been on it virtually ever since.
Yeah.
Go to bed a little bit earlier if I can, but I have a teenager, so I got to make sure things are buttoned down. And once that, I try to get some sleep. Get up about 2:30, 2:40 in the morning, depending on how many times I hit snooze on the alarm clock. And usually into the office by about 3:30.
Okay.
At that point, we have the producers and the executive producer that have worked overnight constructing the show, pulling content, writing it.
Right.
Then it's up to Kalai, myself, Leslie, I sit down at the desk, and I produced news for several years at KHQ back in the 90s.
Sure.
So I think that helps me be a better anchor because I have an eye for content.
Yeah.
What's wrong? What's imbalanced? And it's our job to
And it's all about content.
It is, and it's
It
about
really is.
tweaking that final product to make sure we're absolutely straight down the middle, objective. We're not missing key facts. So that's from about 3:30 till 4:30. Comb my hair, brush my teeth, show up on television, try to look presentable and professional.
Yeah, you talk about combing your hair and everything else. I have this routine before before our noon shows on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I know if I go downstairs and wash my face real fast, I've got to do it early enough that the water I've splashed.
Yeah, you don't want to show up with that on television.
No, because invariably I do. Okay, it's like, can't you take a towel or something? No, I don't. What motivates you to continue to? Because that's a grind. I don't care. I mean, we all have our opportunities and challenges, but that getting up in the morning and as we sit here talking to record for what's airing now, it's 9 o'clock, 9:30. It's the end of your day.
Yeah, it's power nap time for me right now.
Do you take a nap?
I do take. I usually try to get about an hour and a half,
Okay.
and then I make sure to. I'm a big runner. I love all the trails, High Drive, Riverside State Park. So I run and I make sure water. I try to do a little less of this.
Yeah,
It's a balance. It's a grind, but why do I keep doing it was the question.
Yes.
Honestly, working for a locally owned broadcasting station is such a unique
And
beast.
that's hard to find today.
It is hard to find.
Really hard to find.
It has provided a stability for me, for my family.
Yeah.
They're good to me. Yeah. I like to think I give back what I get.
Yes.
And I work with Kalai, Leslie, and Nicole, the absolute most genuine, kindest coworkers you could have. You have to look at not what's wrong in this shift. You got to look at all of the gifts that you have each day that you go to. That's what kind of propels me and keeps me going.
Yeah. Are you guys as friendly off the air as
Absolutely.
you are on?
We go to breakfast together once a month.
Really?
We have a group text that goes through the weekends. You would be what you see on camera every day on the Wake Up Show on KHQ is exactly the way it is off camera too.
Now, I have one bone to pick with Leslie. If you take
I
that
can't
back
speak
to-
for Leslie Lowe. She's a
Okay,
grown
well,
woman. She could speak for herself.
Well, I know she can. In fact, she was in
Okay,
here-
what's the bone to pick? Come on, I'll defend her.
About this weather. We were expecting spring. Did she forget to check the calendar? It's all her fault, right?
I plead the fifth on the grounds my answer may incriminate me. I do news, not weather.
I
Can't be
hear
held
you.
accountable.
I hear you. If we could only be in all of our jobs as wrong as often as news weather
I tell
people.
you what, though, I'm going to debate you on that because Leslie Lowe is about as accurate as they come.
I know, but
And
it's
she
fun.
does a
It's fun to
tremendous
tease the weather people. I mean, that's what we all do.
I do tease her a little bit,
Yeah.
but she teases me right back.
Yeah. You know, I was just thinking, one of the challenges of morning news is to get the viewer to come watch because it's a time when they're getting their kids ready, they're getting ready to go to work and stuff. You should have me on some morning because I'll be saying something and one of your folks will say, "Oh my God, did he just say that?" And they'll call, "Hey, Jane, come in and see what this guy said."
Well, you're going to have to run that up through management.
No, I know.
That's above my pay
That's
grade.
why I'm not down there. Okay, I know management. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk about a couple of things that are really important to you.
Okay.
Very important to Sean Owsley. We'll be right back.
For the Inland Northwest most comprehensive sports report, think outside the porch with Spokesman.com. For just 99 cents for the first month, you'll enjoy unlimited digital access to the news and sports news that affect you most. From EWU to WSU, from Northwest Preps all the way to the Seahawks, we're the local authority that makes sports in the Inland Northwest different than the rest, better than the rest. On your phone, on your desktop, and on your tablet. Subscribe to the digital experience with Spokesman.com.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams and Sean Owsley. Sean's working his best to get a word in edgewise. We were talking before we went.
I like not talking, actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hearing my voice for 2.5 hours every morning, I'm done with me.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about. No, I'm kidding. There are two things that I know from watching you on Facebook and just knowing you that are very important in your life. One is Ryan. Yeah. Who might Ryan be?
Ryan is our son. He's 16 next month.
Oh, Lord.
He's going to be driving, but he's really tentative to practice. Totally different than me. I mean, that first minute I was in my 72 610 Datsun, and I was cruising down the street. But he's everything that you would ever want a child to be.
Yeah.
His true natural resting state is kindness.
Really?
He cares. He's compassionate. He's way smarter than I ever was. And, you know, I like to think the world's better because he's in it and the way he approaches his life. So what else do you want? You can't, if your child is kind, you can't really ask.
It doesn't
for
get better
anything.
than that.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
And you know, his mom and I are very proud of the young man he's becoming.
Does he have any idea what he wants to do later in life?
Well, he's been all over the map. He's like every other 15-year-old. Yeah, he's and he's done really well in junior high and high school.
Good.
But he's still trying to figure it out. He talks about things
early.
with computers or programming type things, and I said, you don't have to decide now. It's just let it come to you, because you will be inspired, and you'll find your trajectory.
Yeah, I remember going in as a early senior, I think, or it might have been late years of junior and high school, to my mom and dad in the living room and saying, I don't know what it is I want to do. I think I know.
Yeah.
And it was at that time, and I did actually later on, I think I want to go into the YMCA work, living in Southern California. And my dad's response, typical, I think, of that age and era, was, well, you know you won't make much money. And, well, yes, Dad, I know that, but there's something more than just money. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I'm sure. But so it's as 16, take it all in, because this is the time that he can explore.
Well, I've always said to him, Kent, it's not about money. It's about having a passion for the path that you choose. Yeah. And I have been passionate about my career.
Yes.
And that's what gets me up every day. Yeah. I still truly love what I do.
Yeah.
And all the different things that it brings into your life. Yeah. And I think if you can find something, an avenue in your life professionally, where you have that as a driving force, you will never get bored, you will never get derailed, you will stay on that path, and you'll fight to be the best you can absolutely be at that.
Right. The other thing that you love, and you're
no, I bet I know where you're gonna go.
What do you think?
Music.
Yes.
See, I broadcast for a living too, Ken.
Yeah, I know.
I can read
Blue
your
Mustang.
mind. Yeah, the Blue Mustang.
Do you have a Blue Mustang?
I have a 68 Blue Mustang that...
Do you remember me for the first year at KHQ driving a 67 Mustang?
Blue
Mustang?
No, you never let me come near it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah?
Yep.
I have
you weren't a big star then.
I'm not a big star now.
Well,
nothing's changed since you left, Ken. I have a 68 Mustang that I bought on Craigslist from a farmer out in Peone Prairie, and... my brother and I have restored it with some help of a guy that does great body work here. It's midnight blue with white racing stripes.
Yeah.
And every time I look at it, I just, oh. And then my brother pulls up in his 69 Dodge Charger Special Edition and goes, yeah, let me know when you come with the big boys.
Yeah,
so, But Blue Mustang's Music,
yeah.
That's the name of our band, too.
Right.
And we play around. In fact, we're playing Moses Lake Spring Fest, May 24th, and it's a 2-hour gig. It's outdoors on the water, so if you're in Moses Lake,
all right,
come by. And we also have gigs throughout the summer, but it's just fun.
And you've sung with Sammy Eubanks, who we both know.
Well, Sammy and my dad go way back.
Yeah.
And I only met Sammy a couple of years ago, and he's just a fantastic musician, first of all, but even better person.
Yeah,
and, every once in a while, I'll come to watch him sing, and he kind of recruits me up to maybe sing "Sweet Home Alabama" or whatever he wants to play. I'll
now
sing
that's
it.
not you in the audience going.
No. He's like,
I know.
Sean, come up here, and I'm like, and then we did Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison one night, and it was fun. It's fun. Yeah. It's just about living life.
Where did the music come from?
Oh, my dad was a huge musician.
Was he? Okay.
Oh, yeah. He was an incredible folk guitarist. He loved Pete Seeger and Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Okay.
And he played in a lot of
Do you even
trios
know who
here.
some of these folks are?
I know exactly who these people are. Yeah.
Some of our audience isn't going to, younger audience isn't
No,
going to know.
but he, true story, he actually tried out for the Chad Mitchell Trio.
Okay.
In his mother's basement over on Garland.
Okay.
And they said his voice was too much like Chad Mitchell's, and a short time later, John Denver joined the group.
Oh, okay.
And he did traveling down in New Orleans and sang with some other people that became pretty famous here, local singers. So the music background was always, the seed was planted at a very young age as well.
I always wondered, because if that was something you took up later in life.
No, he actually taught me how to play guitar.
Wow.
And
so where did the singing come from? Did you do that in high school?
No, I went from 14 to 19 like most teenage boys, and the voice was all over the map.
Okay.
Octave-wise.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until about 20, 21, 22.
It settled down a little.
Kind of settled down, and I started to become comfortable with it. But really, it was when I reached about 30 that I really started enjoying it and working on it. And it's a craft that you continue to work on and improve. And I'm my biggest critic. I continue to try and push the bar and excel, and it's not good enough. Not a perfectionist, but you want it to be at a standard where it really resonates.
Well, you want to have fun.
Yeah.
But you want your audience to have fun too. Yeah. And that's really part of it. Yeah. So what happens this summer? Anything exciting? You've got a couple of shows you're going to do.
There's always something going on.
A fire to go to? Or?
No, hopefully not. I can tell you, I was on the Carlton Complex fire, and I have never seen damage like that. Yeah. They called me the night before, and they said, the town of Pateros is gone. And I was like, oh, they have to be exaggerating. I drove there in the middle of the night. Ash was falling on my windshield, and I pulled up, and there was really a path cut through that town. So hopefully we don't get any wildfires this season. I can tell you I've covered that. The president touring Oso mudslide. I've seen enough destruction. Yeah. So hopefully it's just a nice, calm summer where we all enjoy this beautiful city we live in.
What are some of the fun and good stories that you've been able to tell?
Oh,
because we just talked about some of the things that attack us as a community.
My job is so unique. You get it's like a front row seat to life.
Yeah.
And I anchored the Wake Up Show from the Super Bowl when the Seahawks lost to the Patriots.
Yeah.
But I was down there for that atmosphere. I've been on numerous trips covering Gonzaga in the NCAA tournament, and just the enthusiasm and the fun and to see people smiling. Yeah. Those are the things that stand out to me. I love the Lilac Parade that we do every year because it's really about civic pride and celebrating what we're doing and why we're doing it.
It does say Spokane in the Inland Northwest, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It really does.
It does. And if you're not from here and you come to it, you might think it's neat. If you're from here, you're passionate about it.
Yeah. Well, the city's empty out to come to Spokane.
Agreed.
That's great. Sean, thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us, and you'll come back again, right?
Yeah,
I didn't
will
ask
absolutely.
any too many tough questions.
Yeah, actually, you were easy on me. You can toughen it up a little next time.
Okay,
I'm ready.
I know you are.
I do this. Thank you for having me. A pleasure.
No, good to have you. Best continue to say hi to your compatriots there in the morning, and give Leslie a bad time. She's a great gal. I kid the weather and all that, but that is so important in our lives in terms of whether to wear the coat that day or not, or what the kids are doing and so forth. And you're telling stories. I love the program you do on Sunday morning.
Thank you.
It was good that you could have Susan Nielsen on a week or so after we had her here, but that's okay. Sometimes we got to beat the big guys.
I stand by my product. Sunday, 7:30 in Best Northwest.
I know. Well,
it's been on for 10 years.
Yeah,
we've told business stories that are incredibly unique and success stories where there shouldn't have been.
We don't see enough of that, honestly. And you know how it goes, especially in the evening. If it bleeds, it leads, and there are unfortunately a lot of bad things happening here, there, and so forth. But the fact is, we're seeing some incredible things going on in our business community and the growth, especially now, and so forth. And we need to be telling those stories. So thank you for doing that, because it's a great product.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
All right, thanks a lot, Sean, for coming. You have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow on Spokane Talks Live.
Spokane Talks Live is produced in Spokane, Washington by Spokane Talks Online, LLC, which is solely responsible for its content. To recommend a guest or topic, or to see this program again, please visit our website, SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Join us next Wednesday, noon, for another nourishing conversation on Spokane Talks Live.